on. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه والسنة بسنة الدين أما بعد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم أرنا الحق حقا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا اجتنابه اللهم إنا نسألك خير ما سألك عبدك ورسولك نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذ بك عبدك ورسولك نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. Welcome again, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, to another episode of the Power of Duaa series that we've been doing. This is part 9, and if you missed any of the previous parts, please go to our YouTube channel and you can watch those, the previous ones, or you can just scroll down in our Facebook page and see the previous sessions, the 8 sessions we've had done. Inshallah, as always, before starting, we will have recitation of the Quran from our young brother Saleh Chua.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر صدق الله العظيم.
Jazakallah khair, Saleh. Alhamdulillah. So we continue where we left off last night. As you know, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, can you check there's everything okay on that side? And as you know, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, last night we stopped on the session of the dua, how it's not being accepted or delayed, reasons for that we covered. And today we will cover the shurut ad-du'a to be accepted, the conditions for dua to be accepted. Yesterday we talked about how the hadith of Rasulullah tells us that there are certain things that delay our dua to be accepted. So that was last night. You can check that episode, that part number 8. So today we will talk about Ibn Ata, who has described sab'a shurut ad-du'a. He has described 7 conditions for dua to be accepted. So we will look at those 7 conditions. What are those 7 conditions? And can we fulfill those 7 conditions of dua to be accepted in our lives? First one, he says, at-tadarru', like we said the ayah in the Quran before, يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ خَوْفًا وَطَمَعًا, and then we said that تَتَجَافَى جُنُوبُهُمْ عَنِ الْمَضَاجِعِ, that they have this eagerness and beseeching Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make dua, to ask Allah and plead to Allah. And that is what at-tadarru' means, that you have this sensitivity feeling in yourself to literally begging and beseeching Allah in terms of asking for the dua. So Imam Ibn Ata says that at-tadarru' is one of the very, very important conditions for dua to be accepted. And otherwise the dua can be suspended, mu'allaq, in the sama, until a person is having that. Number 2, he says al-khawf, having fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a very important thing at the time of dua. While you're making dua, you should have the fear, the khawf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning you should be thinking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you're making dua, whether your eyes are open or closed, it doesn't matter, as long as you are focusing. If it helps you in focusing by closing your eyes, so be it, no problem, that's better. If it helps you focusing and concentrating on dua by going like this down, so be it. Because remember, dua is a very intimate ibadah, worship between you and your Lord. That is the most important thing to understand. Dua is no joke. It's no fun. Dua is an ibadah. If you go back to the part 1 of this series, we talked about the hadith of Rasulullah. He said, Dua huwa al-ibadah. The dua is itself an act of worship. And it's a very intimate act of worship. Intimate in the full meaning of the word. It means that you are intimate with your Rabb, with your Lord. You feel the love, the mahabba, the shawq, the uns with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And of course, when you love someone and if you have displeased them, like sometimes when we love our parents, right? We love our parents so greatly. And if we have hurt our parents, if we have displeased them and made them upset, and when we come back to say sorry to them, what is that hope that, oh, my parents are upset, I need to get them to accept me again and feel. So that is why that khawf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is an important short condition for dua to be accepted. And the aspect of beseeching, a tadarru, that a person is literally begging and beseeching Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 3, the short or condition number 3, Imam Ibn Ata says in his shurut al-dua is ar-raja, having hope. Never be hopeless with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Never ever be depressed or despair. Like Allah says in the Quran, Surah Zumar, لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله. Do not ever despair from the mercy of Allah. إن الله يغفر الذنوب جميعا. إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that He is the one who forgives all the sins completely. He is the most forgiving. And in that ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله. Do not despair, do not give up, don't have despondency from Allah. No matter how bad you are, no matter how many sins you have done, even if the sins have gone up to the skies, sama, you ask Allah with sincerity, with khulus and ikhlas, Allah will forgive us. Allah will give us and grant us what we're looking for in dua. So remember, the condition number 1 that Imam Ibn Ata says at tadarru, beseeching and pleading and begging to Allah. Number 2, having khawf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the dua itself. Number 3, ashart al-thalith, the third condition, having raja, having hope, having a optimistic and optimism desire. Inshallah will accept, He will listen, He will listen, He will listen. Keep being consistent, keep repeating and again. Never ever get tired from repeating the same dua every salah, every day, every night. Don't think ever that, oh, Allah is going to get upset if I keep repeating this dua. No. Allah never gets upset from us from repeating the dua. In fact, it's the opposite. Meaning, if we do not repeat a dua to Allah, He may get upset. That, look, this person, this slave of mine, he or she just gave up on me, just became hopeless. They made that dua once and that's it. So it's the opposite. Allah really gets happy when we keep asking Him again and again. And one of the best ingredient of dua is that ask Allah as if you are a beggar. And yes, there's no harm, there's no shame in considering yourself as a beggar. I know with that word, some people have some kind of shyness and embarrassment. A beggar? No, I'm not a beggar. Come on. We are a beggar. Who are we begging? Allah, the Malik, the Malik al-Mulk, the owner, the king of the kings, the sovereign, the one and only Allah. So yes, we are beggars in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So number 4, shart of Rabi, Imam Ata says, is al-mudawamah. Al-mudawamah comes from dawam. Continuously. You make that dua in the morning, make it in the evening, you make it in the evening, make it in the morning, doing every day, doing every week, doing every month, until Allah listens to dua. Yes. And yes, once when Allah listens to dua, let's say you made a dua, you've been making it for the last 2, 3 months, 6 months, year, and suddenly you realize that, oh, that dua has been accepted. Allah listened to it. The day that Allah listened to the dua, the day you found out that that dua has been answered and accepted, immediately go in sajda to shukr, in the prostration of thankfulness. In fact, we should pray 2 rak'ah salat to shukr, 2 rak'ah salah of thankfulness. We should pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the moment our dua is accepted. Let's say, for example, usually people pray thankfulness, nawafil, salawat, shukr when they got something, like they were asking, when they got that they pray. But there are many times you're making dua for something not tangible. For example, if you're making dua that, oh Allah, guide my children to Islam, to Deen, and when you see they start coming towards Deen, yes, pray 2 rakah salatul shukr. Or vice versa, if you're praying that, oh Allah, guide my parents to the Deen, make them more religious, and you see that their parents are, gradually coming towards Deen, becoming serious, immediately make 2 rakah salatul shukr, thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for accepting. These are intangible aspects of the dua. Remember the hadith we said in part 2 of this series, that dua silah al-mu'min. Dua is a weapon of the believer. So we need to use this dua as a weapon, whether against our enemies or whether it's for any productive, beneficial thing to use a dua. So this is shart number 4, or condition number 4 for dua to be accepted. Al-mudawama, you can memorize it, continuously making dua. Number 5, shart number 5, Ibn Atta says, is having khushu' in the dua. This is very important, just like in salah. الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعِينَ, as Allah says in the Quran, those believers who are in their prayer, khashi'in, have khashya, have concentration, devotion, focus. And so dua needs khushu. And how is dua with khushu? You focus in the dua. You use the best of the words, the best of the ways. You call upon Allah with His beautiful names, the 99 names of Allah. Memorize at least 10, 15, 20 of them, so you can use that name in your dua. You can say, Ya Allah, Ya Latif, Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Allah, Ya Kareem, Ya Allah, Ya Ghafoor, Ya Allah, Ya Qawi, Ya Allah, Ya Aziz. As you are saying this in dua, you are feeling the warmth and strength of your your dua and your emotions, and bringing yourself closer and closer to Allah. Remember, dua is a very intimate ibadah. I cannot help but emphasize enough saying dua is an intimate ibadah, ta'alluq, a relationship between you and your Allah. Because you can be making dua while in the broad daylight in front of public. You can be making dua in the darkness of the night alone when everybody's sleeping in a corner of your room. You could be making dua. You could be making dua while you're riding your car up and down the highway. You could be making dua while you're up in the plane riding at 30,000 feet. You could be making dua while you're going down the stairs to catch a train in the subway. Or you could be making dua while you're just walking in the park, taking the fresh breeze air and making dua. Dua knows no boundaries. But it is khushu that has to be there in the dua when you're making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some people, they think or they assume that dua is only when you have done some sort of ibadah, then at the end, for example, you're reciting Quran, you finish, then you make dua. At the end of the salah, you make dua. You were fasting. Yeah, these are good and right times for make dua, but these are not the only fixed or fixated times for making dua. You could be making dua anytime you want. The only place you don't make dua is in the bathroom. But other than that, you could be making dua anywhere, wherever you are, where you're going. And then number 6 condition, he says, Imam Ibn Atta, for the dua to be accepted is al-umum, the generality of the dua. That when you're making dua, don't be selfish. Don't just make dua for yourself. Oh Allah, me, I, my children, my parents, that's it. Make dua for everybody. Be generous. Be open-hearted. Ask Allah that, oh Allah, bless the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu. Oh Allah, bless the Muslims in Middle East, the Muslim in Asia, Muslim in Africa, Muslim in America. Be very vast. Allah, you're asking, who are you asking in dua? You're asking Allah, the infinite, the vast, the expansive. So don't mahdud, don't hudud, don't conserve your dua. Don't be restrictive in your dua. Don't just be very selfish that, oh, I just worry about myself. I get what I get and forget about the world. No. The more you are generous in your dua, the more you will reap the rewards of generosity. Somebody's got to think about this ummah, right? Somebody's got to think about the society, the world. Who's going to care about our brothers and sisters in all over the world? Who's going to have fikr? Who's going to have fikr, concern for the ummah of Muhammad sallam? The ummah of Muhammad sallam is going in a very depleted deterioration and devastation in society. Who's going to think about it? They are our brothers and sisters. And not only that, but be very, very, very generous and expansive in your dua that include people of other faith, even the non-Muslims. We can make dua that, oh Allah, help them. Oh Allah, alleviate their suffering and poverty. Oh Allah, give them guidance. Allahumma hadihim. Give them hidayah. Did it ever pass our mind to make dua for the hidayah of the millions and billions of people who are not guided to Allah? Who's going to guide them? Who's going to make dua for them? Is it only for the scholars, ulama? Is it only for the muftis that they worry about making dua for the non-Muslims? What about me and you, an average human being? Why does it have to be always someone else to worry about these things? Why not me? I make dua. Start from tonight, brother and sister. Start from tonight. Make dua that, oh Allah, guide all the people in the world to your hidayah, to your guidance, to your Islam. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Sallallahu. Is it just for some jama'ats, like some tablighi jama'at, some jama'at Islamiyah, that they have to worry about the guidance of the human beings on earth? Rasulullah was so worried. In Mecca and Medina, he was worried, not just because the Meccans in Arabia and Mecca and Medina were from his family, but he was generally worried about the whole world. He asked Jibreel, what's going to happen to the people after I die? How is this deen going to go to the people, to all the nooks and corner of the world? So we need to make dua, especially me and you, the American Muslims, we living here in America. It is our incumbent job, duty to make dua for our non-Muslim brothers and sisters in this society, right here in America, that, oh Allah, guide them to the truth. Say Ameen. Oh Allah, guide them to the truth. Oh Allah, guide them to your deen. Oh Allah, guide them to you, the one and only Allah. Oh Allah, guide them to La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. This is generosity. This is sahawa. This is karam, al-jud wal-karam. That you are generous. You are very, very vast. You're not very selfish. You're not greedy. You're not, you don't have, you're not a miser that I just worry about myself, to heck with the whole world. I don't care about the world. No, we care about every human being. Why cannot we care about every human being when my and your Prophet Muhammad Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was worried and cried in the middle of the night for every human being who was not a Muslim? He cried for people, oh Allah, guide them, فَإِنَّهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Oh Allah, guide them, for they do not know. Oh Allah, guide them, for they are in jahala, in ignorance. So today there is no Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Who's going to make this dua for these people who are misguided, who are not guided to Islam? Me and you, we have to make dua. So when we make dua, there is something known as al-umum wal-khusus, awam and khas. Al-am meaning general dua for everybody, and khas is you yourself. So try to include in your dua both things. Make dua for yourself, your family members, your loved ones, and also make dua for all the Muslims, and then expand it further, make dua for all human beings. There are more than 6 billion people in the world right now who are not guided to La ilaha illallah Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Who's going to make dua for them? Allah going to send some angels from the skies? Allah going to send some aliens? It is my and your job. The least we can do, if we can't do anything else, the least we can do is make dua. Oh Allah, guide them to Islam. Oh Allah, give them hidayah. Even the rulers, many times we as Muslims, we criticize the rulers, whether our own rulers or any other rulers. And we sometimes go so much far and exaggerate in criticizing that we start cursing them. I ask you one thing, just one thing I ask you. Criticizing them and cursing them, will it benefit you or them at all? Think about it. Instead, make dua for them. Oh Allah, guide the Muslim rulers to hidayah. Oh Allah, guide the Muslim rulers to make the right decisions. Oh Allah, guide the Muslim rulers to wake up from their sleep and slumber and ghafla and nisyan, forgetfulness and obliviousness. Oh Allah, guide them to what you love and for the ummah. Because these rulers are there above us. They're also placed by the will and permission of Allah, bi mashiatillah. You know that nothing happens in this world without the will of Allah. So if we have oppressive, disobedient rulers, the least we can do, if we cannot go to their palace, we cannot go to their houses and knock on their door to give them da'wah, the least we can do is get up in the middle of the night at 3 in the morning and say, oh Allah, guide the Muslim rulers to righteousness. Oh Allah, guide the Muslim rulers to what you love and like to be happening on this earth. You know, enough with the criticism, enough with the mongering and all that. It's time to use dua as a silah, as a weapon. Now you understand how dua is a weapon. Like the hadith of Rasulullah, he said, "Dua silahul mu'min." You know, dua is the weapon of a believer. How? You use it in the right place, in the right time, for the right cause, for the right reasons, and your dua will become a weapon to influence and impact. There were people in the past in Islamic history who had very bad rulers, very disobedient, deviant, tyrannical rulers. But there were people who had ikhlas, khulus, who made dua. And those same rulers, Allah changed their heart. The same person, Allah changed their heart and bring nusrah to the deen of Islam. I don't give too many examples. Just one example. You can go search history, Google it also. Hajjaj bin Yusuf. Hajjaj bin Yusuf is so famous, one of the rulers of Islam, Hajjaj bin Yusuf. But you know that in spite of him being famous, he was very, very oppressive, very tyrannical. But yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened the doors of Asia into Islam thanks to Hajjaj bin Yusuf, that he sent his commander Muhammad bin Qasim to go to the shores of the area which now today is called Karachi, where people went. Hajjaj bin Yusuf just read a letter that some women are being oppressed and being ridiculed by the oppressive regime and people. His emotionality got in, and his leadership, even though he was oppressive and tyrannical to Muslims, he sent a whole battalion, and that battalion opened the doors of Islam. And thanks to that, today, so many millions of people in South Asia are Muslims today. And Hajjaj bin Yusuf, also the leader. I give that example because this is how dua is used as a weapon. Somebody must have made dua for Hajjaj bin Yusuf, and his heart melted and moved towards the direction. It is thanks to Hajjaj bin Yusuf that we have harakat on this Quran. You know, me and you, the people who are non-Arabs, non-native speaking Arabic language, when we pick up the Quran, how do we know where is fatha, kasra, dhamma? All these things were inserted by him during his time. So brothers and sisters, never ever underestimate the power of dua. That's why this series is called The Power of Dua. We don't just mean it. We don't just say it. We mean it. That the word power means really power. You have not really tasted the power of dua if you have not made sincere dua for anything or for rulers or people far distant away. A lot of times people say, oh, that ruler is so far away in that country. What is my dua gonna do to him? No. You don't know. You haven't really tasted the realm of the sixth sense, or the realm of the alam al-arwah, how the ruh arwah are really in control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Dua can change and move mountains. Yes, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam. Dua is so powerful, it can move the mountains on this earth. We never tasted, we never tried it, we never tested it. That's why we just write it off. No. Dua cannot move mountains. Yes, try for a second, but remember, your dua does not have to be superficial. Don't just say, oh Allah, move the mountains, but it has to have khushu and khudu and khuluz and mudawama and all these ingredients that we are learning in this series. If you missed the previous series, please go back and watch those series. You'll find very beneficial information that is very important for us. And then Imam Ibn Atta goes on to say the seventh condition, the seventh and the most important condition for dua to be accepted. He said, Aklul halal, eating halal. Eating halal This relates to what we did last night. You know, last night's session, we talked about the whole issue of that hadith of Rasulullah, where a man was making dua and his food and drink and clothing was all haram. And Rasulullah said, وَأَنَّ يُسْتَجَابْ لَهُ, how will his dua be answered? So that same thing is reinforced, reiterated here in the seven conditions of dua to be accepted by Imam Ibn Atta. He says, أَكْلُ الْحَلَال, make sure you eat halal. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has emphasized time and again throughout the Quran, eat halal, means make sure your rizq is halal. Our rizq is the basic building block, basic ingredient for anything of our ibadah. Imagine if we're eating haram. I don't mean by haram eating pig or pork products or alcoholic things, but by eating halal means earning your rizq, earning your salary, your job, your business through halal. Because that money determines everything. The money that we earn in life, the money that we earn in life and provide as a provision for our spouse and children, for our families, that determines everything. Eating halal determines the dua to be accepted. Eating halal determines our a'mal. What kind of a'mal? A lot of times people say that, oh, my kids, my children, you know, they're becoming rebellious, and first thing I ask them, brother, make sure your rizq is halal. Sit down and think and ponder for a second. Is there any usury interest involved in my risk? Am I getting interest from somewhere? And am I paying interest somewhere? Because these are the things that will make the dua delayed in acceptability. These are the things that will make dua to be suspended. These are the things that make the dua maybe rejected. We could be making dua for 6, 7 months, 6, 7 years, and may not be accepted because we are so heavily infested in eating haram. And eating haram means that the business. Imagine, for example, you know, Imam Ibn Atta says aklul halal is very important. Imagine there's a Muslim who's a bartender, and his whole job as a bartender is making drinks. And he's getting a paycheck and a salary from selling liquor, from selling, you know, drinks and cocktails. And he's using that money, that paycheck. He buys milk, he buys bread, he buys eggs, he buys food, and then he puts it in his mouth. That all that food that has come from selling liquor, from alcohol, you think the dua will be accepted? You think Allah will be happy? So what job we are working, what job we are doing, how we are earning our rizq is tantamount to how our dua will be accepted. And then we complain, oh, our dua is not being accepted. Whenever we want to complain, this is my request to everyone, whenever we want to complain that our dua is not being accepted, before we complain, just stop, drop everything and think for a second. Is there anything in my rizq that is not permissible, not halal? Is there even 1 ounce, forget ounce, 1 iota, 1 inch, 1 simple speck of haram inserted in my rizq? I need to stop. I need to get it away. If it means making drastic, draconian decisions like, you know, selling houses, doing this and that, yes, why not? You want to jeopardize your life for the sake of these worldly pleasures? No, it's not worth it. And how can it be? That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya alladhina amanu kulu min it. It's not coming to my mind, but it means eat from the permissible things that Allah has given us. So that is why if somebody has a grocery store and they're selling all the groceries, but they also have beer in the freezer and they're selling the beer, the person can say, oh, my business is halal. I have all halal, everything. Yeah, that just one because, you know, I get customers, I get business. So yeah, you may have $100 earning, but from that $100, you have $10 from the sales of that beer that is in the cooler. So that $10 is now being mixed with the other $90. So then you will have to pay the consequences in the dua, in the a'mal. Because remember, whatever we eat, whatever we feed our children, so shall you get the result. You know, whatever you sow today, so shall you reap. That's the English phrase. So if our children are rebellious, if our children are disobedient, if our children are drastic and, you know, all kinds of berserk things are happening, first thing as a father, as a mother, I need to ask, am I feeding my children halal food? Not meaning the real halal food, meaning my risk, my job, my salary, is it coming from halal? There are many people who easily shrug it off their shoulder. It's okay, brother, don't worry about it. It's just a business. There are people, Muslims, who have businesses. They sell lotto tickets, lottery tickets, the scratch off tickets even, and they don't even think that it's so serious. It's not a serious business. It's just a small thing. I mean, I don't get that much. Or the lottery tickets, Powerball and New Jersey Lotto or whatever the thing is. I'm just selling lottery tickets, so I get a lot of revenue dividend. Remember, haram money is very attractive. Remember, haram money is very, very enticing. All those incentives that the state gives you on selling lottery tickets, yes, it may put water in your mouth. But remember, that same water is delaying your dua to be accepted. You get in the middle of the night, 3 in the morning, making dua, Allah. And Allah is saying to the angels, look, in the daytime, the guy was selling all these lottery tickets, all these lottery tickets, and now he's begging me, he's asking me. فَأَنَّ يُسْتَجَابُ لَهُ. That is what the Rasul said about the Badun Arabi. فَأَنَّ يُسْتَجَابُ لَهُ. It's a phrase, a very, very striking phrase in Arabic language, that how on earth do you accept Allah to accept dua for this person when they are heavily infested in haram? So my dear brother and sister Islam, come, let us promise together that from today, from tonight, investigate, we will interrogate our risk, our means of earning. If we find, as together as Muslims, if we find even 1 single inch somewhere is haram, let us make a promise, not to me and you, but to Allah, that we will remove that haram. We'll remove that haram from the risk, so that we can have a halal rizq, and that halal rizq will bring halal a'mal, will bring halal hasanat, will bring halal dua to be accepted. May Allah forgive our sins, may Allah forgive our shortcomings. Inshallah, we end for tonight. Again, we'll rejoin next week on Monday. As you know, this is our series every night, Monday to Friday. Weekend, I just give it off because so that you guys can have your family time. But inshallah, Monday, we'll do part 10 of this series. In part 10, just a sneak preview what is to come on Monday. In this series, we'll be talking about the mawaqit ad-du'a, the awqat of dua, the times when dua are most accepted. Because for a believer, it is very important to understand what are the times when the dua are most accepted, so that in those times you maximize your output, you maximize your productivity. So remember to come back here on the YouTube channel or the Facebook page, Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Wherever you are, join again so that we can learn and continue in this series. And then on Tuesday, we'll be talking about the dua of the Anbiya. The dua of the Anbiya in the Quran. All the prophets' dua are mentioned in the Quran. So we will pick up those ayat, we will explain those ayats, and we'll see how the science of dua that we have studied so far has been incorporated in the dua of our role model, the prophets of Allah. Because what we have covered so far in these 9 parts, 9 episodes of this series, we've covered the basic building block and ingredients of dua. So it's a theoretical. Now we will move towards practicality, practical, how to practically make dua. And then next week also onwards in the next sessions, we will look at some of the dua that are very, very time tested and very productive that we should be also making. So inshallah, we'll continue with this series next week. Come, let us end for tonight with a small dua, inshallah. اللهم أنت السلام منك السلام تبارك ربنا وتعاليت يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار. اللهم والحقنا بالصالحين رب العالمين. اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات المؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك أنت السميع مجيب الدعوات. Please make dua for the people who are dying from the coronavirus. Today I got the news of 2 different people from New York City passed away. May Allah forgive their sins, and there are many other Muslims from other countries are also dying from this corona. May Allah give them the darajah of shaheed. Say Ameen with me, please. May Allah give them shahada in this maut, like Rasulullah said in the hadith, that whoever dies from a plague, from a disease, from a ta'un, then they are in the level of shuhada, in the level of shaheed. اللهم اغفر لحينا وميتنا وشاهدنا وغائبنا وصغيرنا وكبيرنا وذكرنا وانسانا. اللهم من احييت منا فهو على الاسلام، ومن توفيت منا فتوفاه على الايمان. اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات المؤمنين والمؤمنات الاحياء منهم والاموات انك انت سميع مجيب دعوات. اللهم اغفر لجميع المؤمنين الذين شهدوا لك بالوحدانيه وماتوا على ذلك يا رب العالمين. Oh Allah, forgive the sins of the people who have died from this coronavirus and from any other sickness. Oh Allah, give the people who have died from this coronavirus the level of shuhada, the maqam of shaheed. Ameen Ya Rabbil Alameen. Oh Allah, forgive all those people who have died from any kind of sicknesses. Oh Allah. اللهم يا شافي الأمراض يا شافي المشافى اشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم اشفيهم شفاء كاملا لا يغادر سقما يا رب العالمين. اللهم ارزقهم الصحة والعافية في بدنهم وجسدهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم احفظنا من هذا البلاء. Oh Allah, protect us from this bala, from this pandemic. Oh Allah, protect us and our children, our families from this waba, from this pandemic, from this disease. Oh Allah, keep us all healthy and safe from and sound from this. Allah, remove this calamity, remove this pandemic as soon as possible, as quickly as possible, Ya Allah, Ya Rahman Rahim. We make sincere tawbah, tawbatan nasuha to you, Ya Allah. Please accept our tawbah. Oh, you are the one who loves tawbah, and here we are making tawbah to you, Ya Allah. Allahumma innaka afuun kareemun halimun tawbal afa fa'fu anna. Oh Allah, you are pardoning, you are forgiving, and you are forbearing, and you love to forgive, so forgive us, Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. اللهم يا رحمن يا رحيم اللهم ارفع عنا مقتك غضبك عنا. Allah, remove your wrath and your anger from us. Allah, we know you are upset and you're angry from us. We repent to you, we say sorry to you, Ya Allah. So remove your anger, your displeasure from us, Ya Allah. May Allah show us your rahmah, show us your mercy, show us your love, show us your kindness, Ya Allah. Allah, show us your rahmah, your karama, your kareem, your jud, your rahmani, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Oh Allah, forgive all the people who have died from this thing, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, guide the non-Muslims to Islam, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Oh Allah, guide everyone who is not believing in La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah Sallam. Oh Allah, guide all the people who are deprived of your guidance, of your hidayah. Oh Allah, guide them to Islam, guide them to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Oh Allah, Rasulullah said that he is a prophet to all mankind. Oh Allah, you said in surah Araf in the Quran, قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ إِنِّي رَسُولُ اللَّهِ إِلَيْكُمْ جَمِيعًا, that say, O mankind, I am a prophet to all of you together. So Allah, make the message of Muhammad sallam go to each and every door, every nook and corner of the world, so everybody knows who is Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الابرار وصلى الله على خلق محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى اله وصحبه برحمتك ورحمين. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد ان لا اله الا الله نستغفرك ونتوب اليك والسلام عليكم ورحمه الله وبركاته.